Testing 1 2 test. Hello, YouTube and X. It's your main man BTM here, bringing you back to the BTM Crypto News Network. And this is a Zebec, and we got a pretty good show for you this evening. Thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and super chat. So this is Simon B, the CEO of Zebec, and he's talking to Bri Teresi, I guess. I think is how you say that. And he pretty much does a whole lot going over Zebec and an announcement about the super app. So let's see. Let's turn on the screen share and look at a couple things, and then we'll get to the video. So let me see here. Turn that screen share on and see what we can see under the spotlight. Thanks for joining this Friday evening. And of course, shout out to our sponsor, Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown is a crypto broker that offers 24/7 support, gives you a personal broker to help you through your crypto journey, and also self custody your crypto. So shout out to Caleb and Brown, and thanks to their support and supporting the channel. You can find the link in the description if you want to sign up. I think I get like $5 on your sign up or something small. But just trying to keep the lights on here on the BTM Crypto News Network. Let's go. So this is a quick short from main man Jake Cleaver or Cleavern. Somebody said it's something Cleavern, something, I don't know. But what up, D Wilton? Wellwood? What's going on? Thanks for joining. What up, New Wave? What up? What's going on? What up, Hitter All Day? What up, BTM fam? BTM, what up? What up, Hard Drive? What's going on? What's good, everybody? Thanks for joining. Let's go to this short real quick, and then we'll look at the numbers and then go over to X for the video.
This would be generational wealth for people. The common person, this is probably the one time you can participate in this type of stuff in a millennia. And talked about that last time on the live. Hard for me to really explain to people the opportunity than me and wiser that have said you'll have more once in a lifetime opportunities. I don't know how to impress upon you that there's not going to be another one of these for sure, especially after the advent of AI, blockchain, and the efficiencies that are created. There's going to be a reversion to the mean, and the volatility in markets is going to be far, far less than it is today. Volatility is good and bad. You can lose a lot of money, but you can make a lot of money in a very short period of time. This would be generational wealth for people. The common person, this is probably the one time you can participate in this type of stuff.
I'm tripping. Thanks for that, hitter. So this is 0027, down 1.72% on the 24-hour. Market cap is 211.4 mil won, down 1.56%. 24-hour trading value is 8.4 million at 0.07% up. Circulating supply of 76.7 billion. Let's go back over to the coin market cap. Let's see, the market cap for the crypto is 3.06 trillion, down 2.12%. CMC 20 is 192.18 cents, down 2.06. Fear and greed is 26. Back in fear. Altcoin season 19. So we're closer to Bitcoin dominance, pulling away from altcoins. Crypto RSI, the average is 43.7, getting back to oversold. Close this guy out. Currently holders is 89,503. Wow, where's the rest of the map here? So we'll close that out. Over to Solo Scan. Solo Scan says 89,508. Let me pull up the crypto bubbles real quick. So on the bubbles, if it opens up, so on the bubbles, let's see while they're loading. This is World Mobile's up 7.6, Asher's up 1.4, Theta's up 1.4, Sky's up 3.9, Alchemy Pays up 4.7, Swarm's up 1.2, Organize up 0.8, ASM, which is, I think, Assembly AI, yeah, up 1.7. XDC is up 0.7 on the day, unchanged on the hour, unchanged on the week, down 13.3 on the month, down 41.6 on the year. AIOZ is up 3%. Let's look at the heavy hitters. Bitcoin is down 1.3 on the day, unchanged on the hour, up 1.1 on the week, down 11.5 on the month, and down 9.2 on the year. Back to 90,000. I think it dipped down to 89,000, came back up. XLM is down 2.3 on the day, up 0.2 on the hour, unchanged on the week, down 15% on the month, down 43.7 on the year. Casper's down 2.6, Cubic's down 4.6, Core's down 5.3. HBAR is down 4.6 on the day, up 0.3 on the hour. For the week, it's up 6.6. For the month, it is down 21.9. For the year, it is down 57.3. Render is down 3.1. Tau is down 0.8. Come on, Tau. For the hour, it's down 0.3. For the week, it's up 6.3. For the month, it's down 16.5. For the year, it is down 48.8. Back under 300 to $294.55. Ingested down 2.3. Ships down 1.4. Dodge is down 2%. ICP is down 4.7. Solana, which I thought would start pumping with the news with Coinbase, but I guess not. Unchanged on the hour, down 2.6 on the day, down 0.1 on the week, down 13.1 on the month, down 41.4 on the year. XLM is down 4.8 on the day, up 1.5 on the hour, up 14.5 for the week, down 16.1 for the month, and up 117% on the year. Cardano is down 2.3 on the day, up 0.2 on the hour, down 0.9 for the week, down 25.4 on the month, and down 63.4 on the year. Monero's down 0.7. World Liberty Financial is down 1.5. Dash is down 4% on the day, down 0.4 on the hour, down 1.1 on the week, down 31.1 on the month, and down 5.5 on the year. Flare's down 1.4. Where is Ethereum? Sui's down 2.2. DAX down 9. Sui's down 2.2. Stronghold is down 4.5 on the day, unchanged on the hour, down 14.7 on the week, down 17.2 on the month, and down 37% on the year. And where is Ethereum? XRP is down 0.9 on the day, down 0.6 on the week, down 16.4 on the month, and 13.9 on the year, unchanged on the hour. We're back at the $2. We dipped below the $2 but came back up. Why can't I find Ethereum? Oh, there it is. So Ethereum is down 6.4 on the day, down 0.1 on the hour, up 2% on the week, down 10% on the month, down 20.4 on the year, back at that 3,000 mark. And of course, I just saw it too. That's weird. Where is it? I just saw it. Try to put it in the middle. There we go. A ZBCN, the token we all know and love, the payroll processor of the future, the infrastructure of the crypto ecosystem, and the background or the backbone of payroll is down 2.3 on the day, unchanged on the hour, down 0.6 for the week, down 16.7 on the month, and still up 151% on the year. Let's go. What up, Silver Days? What's going on with you, fam? Welcome back. We missed you. So this is the BTM Crypto News Network, and this is the video. Let's see, where's her name? It's Bri Teresi, I guess, Teresi or something. So Bri is the American social media personality, a model, influencer, best known for her large following on platforms like Instagram and X, formerly Twitter, who posts lifestyle, fitness, golf-related, and model content. That's weird. Born in Auburn, California, has built a sizable online presence around 1.4 to 1.5 million Instagram followers, talks to her modeling, fashion, and golf content. Been featured on fashion lifestyle publications like FHM, Juki, and Maximus. Outside social media, she's known for incorporating golf into a personal brand, posting golf videos, engaging with audiences around the sport. Also studied political science at San Jose State. She's active on other platforms like, well, fans only. Has presence as a creator beyond just Instagram. Content often blends fashion, sports, and fitness. Lifestyle themes. She engages followers with the personality interest. A social media influencer model who gained fame through visuals and lifestyle content, especially golf related posts. Interesting. So enough about her. Let's get to the video. So this is episode 5. Free the money. Zebec CEO Simon B drops news on XLM XRP connection. Simon joins me to break down the Zebec HQ revolutionary approach to real-time payroll Oh, wow. Using blockchain rails, we dive into how Zebec is rebuilding payroll for the digital age, what the biggest challenges and opportunities are right now. We also discuss Zebec's major institutional partnership in 2025. And Simon gives a first look at the upcoming Zebec super app. I told you guys somebody was going to start talking about it. I told you guys the Flood X, but I guess we still got time. Plus, Simon drops major announcements coming in January involving Stellar.
Working with banks and large asset managers.
Got
And I discovered
beginning, and I gotta take the screen off. I'll be right.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Free the Money. Today, I'm sitting down with the CEO of Zebec, Simon Babakhani, and to talk about how they are transforming payroll with instant real-time payroll. Welcome to the show, Simon.
Bri, thank you so much for having me today. And yeah, super excited to get into things with you.
Yeah, thank you for being here. So just tell me a little bit about your background and how you got involved with Zebec.
Yeah, so I have more of what we call a TradFi background. I spent most of my career on Wall Street working with banks and large asset managers. And I discovered crypto kind of just out of personal interest about 10 years ago now. Um, and from there, the idea of Zebec was born. We always asked ourselves living in the US, why is it that everyone gets paid every 2 weeks?
That's crazy, man. All these crypto guys, hedge funds, and CEOs, and I guess managers and owners of companies usually came from Wall Street, which is very interesting. Let's get back to it.
Weeks or every month? Why can't payroll be in real time as workers, complete their tasks and deliver value? And the question always came down to the friction of payments. So how do you eliminate or reduce the friction of payments? That's how Zebec, born in the blockchain, came to be.
Wow, that's so powerful. And it's crazy how delayed ACH is and how this hasn't been transformed in many years. And you talk about how basically the way workers are paid these days is something totally from the past. And, it's amazing that we have companies like you that are really accepting this challenge. Would you say you started off originally with the idea of streaming and then you also got into, I know you have these silver and carbon cards. I'm a big user of these cards. I think that's actually how I originally discovered Zebec. When I
So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs. Real adoption. People are using the black and the silver card. That's what I'm talking about.
I get paid in crypto or if I'm earning crypto, I usually load it onto these cards or I'm able to send them to friends and family. Can you tell me a little bit about these as well?
Yeah, well, it's great to hear that you're a happy user of the cards, because I really do believe that the best in the market, and we have three cards for three different use cases. No matter what you like, a loaded debit card, you want to have a quick, simple instant card that you can use for everyday purchases. We deliver that at Zebec. But the genesis of the cards were really an extension of the payroll. We launched Zebec Payroll now 3, 4 years ago. And the question people had at the time was, how could we spend our stablecoin payroll? Well,
Mhm.
back then, it wasn't that easy to move money from cryptos to bank accounts like it is today. So we developed a suite of MasterCard products where you could seamlessly move your stablecoin payroll in seconds to a MasterCard. And at that point, Zebec effectively becomes a bank in your pocket, right? You're getting paid through Zebec in stables wherever you are in the world. And regardless of whether you have a bank account in Europe.
So again, that is banking the unbanked. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs. This is the kind of interview and adoption we need. Have people explain simply what Zebec does and how, if you need a bank, or if you don't have a bank, or if you are traveling worldwide, you could use Zebec and what is that? World Mobile Tokens to be your own bank on the go. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. Let me get back to the video.
or the US or Asia, it doesn't matter because you're getting paid in USDC or other stablecoins and you're spending it in real time on an Apple Pay or a Google Pay linked MasterCard.
So I listened to a podcast you did recently. I believe it was called the Stablecoin Podcast, and you just discussed how the United States really is the perfect economy for this because of the Genius Act. Can you talk a little bit about some of the hurdles you guys had to, you know, get through in order to really be successful at this and to be compliant?
It's a great question because I would say that the Genius Act has transformed our business. I mean, it's been a night and day difference.
Hmm.
Previous to July, we would get a certain number of requests every month inbounds from companies that want to work with us. I'd say after the Genius Act passed, we've seen a 5 to 10-fold increase just in the number of requests. And it's obviously very hard for us to onboard all these clients. We can't work with everyone out there. There are some limitations. But overall, it's been a boon to the business. It's been great to see that the government is finally aligned with the priorities of the economy, seeing that they need to upgrade the financial system in the US so that it can continue to be the global leader in finance. And for a couple of years there, we were worried that the US was going to fall behind, with all this
Hmm.
anti-crypto rhetoric, with banks not being able to work with crypto companies. Now it's completely the opposite, and we've had a step change for the industry.
That sounds very promising. And then how will the Clarity Act also affect Zebec?
Well, the Clarity Act is great for the industry because it's really going to clean it up. They're going to put some guardrails in place and guidelines for companies that have tokens, for market making, for exchanges. So what I think is going to happen is all this volatility that you see in the market these days and price manipulation and all these
Hmm.
things that people hate about crypto, that'll get washed out of the market. And it'll be a lot more similar to what we see, in the stock market. And I think that's going to bring in a lot of retail investors and maybe even institutions that were, a little bit scared of getting involved in crypto due to the volatility.
Yeah. Can you tell me why business owners would want to stream their payroll in real time rather than just doing it the traditional way?
Well, let's look at it from both, the demand side and the supply
Hmm.
side. So start on the demand side. Really, it comes down to employees. We're in an incredibly competitive labor market right now. And if one employer is offering daily pay, weekly pay, anything better than the 2-week cycle, that's instantly going to draw the best talent to that employer. So the employers, in many cases, view this as like an HR tool, as a recruiting tool to keep employees happy and productive. And from the employee side, it keeps them out of debt. At the end of the day,
Hmm.
we're living in one of the most inflationary periods in US history. People are having difficulty making ends meet. And one of the challenges of that is not getting paid as you do your work. So you cannot pay your expenses in real time. And people, as a result, they go to payday lenders or they go to, earned wage access companies where they pay then, a good amount of interest or fees to access what is really rightfully their own earnings. They're not really getting money before they've actually earned it. And that again goes back to why we started Zebec, because we felt that the system was not fair and it was punishing workers in a way that we did not see was fit.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Competition will lead to these employers having to pay in real time. I saw that you guys are possibly going to be streaming payments with XLM or some type of partnership with Stellar. Is that true?
It is. So we've been working with Stellar now in a certain capacity for about a year and a half.
Wow.
Progress has been relatively slow as we've been focused on many other things in Zebec, but
Hmm.
we do see the value in the Stellar blockchain primarily because of Stellar's massive remittance network. So by plugging in Zebec payroll into Stellar's remittance network, we now open up Zebec payroll to hundreds of companies, thousands of users around the world. So if you're someone in the US who's getting paid by Zebec, and now you can send money at the click of a button to family and friends around the world, and they can cash it out in a brick and mortar location through StellarNet,
Hmm.
this increases the value of Zebec's network. And that's at the end of the day, our primary goal is to increase the value of our network through more volume, more users, more use case.
Do you see any other crypto networks that you would possibly be working with?
Well, we're definitely in talks with all the major payment networks. So going back to Stellar, there will be a major announcement in the next couple of weeks, potentially early January, depending on when the legal teams can finish the review. Inking the partnership between Zebec and Stellar and expanding our product base onto Stellar. This will be the first major chain expansion for us outside of the Solana blockchain, which is
Yeah.
our home. Of course, our card products support 19 different chains right now, soon to be 20. But the payroll product, given that it's native to Solana, has always really just been on Solana. So Stellar will be the first step outside of that. And beyond Stellar, there's of course a few of the big names out there that we're also in talks with, which I've alluded to many times on Spaces during the year. We haven't been able to say anything on that until it's fully announced and fully done at the product. But I think into 2026, we're going to see a massive expansion for Zebec outside of its home in Solana.
So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. There is a lot more announcements coming. I know things were looking kind of weird for a while and not a lot of adoption or announcements, but clearly there's a lot in the pipeline. And for all the fudders and the people that's saying it's a scam, if so, why would they get these certs and these compliances? And why would he be on here talking about it, right? It doesn't even make sense. So all the fudders, the scammers, and the people saying it ain't legit can shut your mouth. Just show them this video. It's on X. Let's get back to the video. A lot of interesting stuff being talked about in this interview. I think this is probably one of the best interviews I've seen so far. Maybe because on the AMAs, I don't know if the volume is that great or if it's just kind of weird. I know with my computer with X and AMAs, sometimes the sound goes out or it's coming in and out and people get dropped. They have to reconnect. So this is actually a very informative video and a good information informational probably. So let's get back to it.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so where does your token play into all of this? I know you guys have a native token. Can we talk about the role it plays now, and then as Zebec obviously continues to grow, the role it'll also play in the future?
So Zebec's native token is ZBCN. At the end of the day, it's an ecosystem token. So it is used throughout our ecosystem, whether that's payroll, whether that's cards. But what's most important is that it's a deflationary token. So it is clearly linked to the revenue of the company through our card program, where every dollar that's spent on the card program leads to a burning of a Zebec token through our buyback and burn mechanisms. So as volumes have increased, more tokens have been taken out of supply. And then on the payroll side, it is used to reduce the fees of the payroll product. So by having Zebec, staking Zebec, you do reduce the fees on the payroll. So as both of those products grow, what happens is that the ZBCN tokens in circulation will slowly decrease and decrease with time.
This is actually where I really discovered what you guys were doing with payroll. The other day, I put out a post on X talking about an integration you guys now have with NatPay. And NatPay, for those of you who don't know, is a very large payroll processing company, and it is integrated with FedNow. It's ISO 222 compliant. Can we just talk about how important this is for Zebec?
Yeah, I think the NatPay integration may have been one of our most transformative partnerships of this year. And a
Yeah.
lot of people don't really know what NatPay is. It's not a household name. It's a very much behind the scenes company. They're moving $170 billion through the ACH network in the US every year. And nobody's really talking about them because they're purely B2B.
So 170 billion with a B. And he's right. Nobody even talks about it or knows about it or even know they exist. So, as you mentioned, this probably is the biggest partnership of the year. And that's a lot of good information about NetPay. You know, we've been talking about it, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who had no idea what NetPay did. But let's get back to it.
They work with businesses, they work with payroll companies, and they work with institutions. They move money. Typically, ACH has been done in a +2 model for payroll, for the past 50, 60 years in the US. NatPay's innovation is that they were the first company to join FedNow, and they launched a product called NatPay Now, which enables them to do payroll same day. This is huge for employers because
Wow.
employers no longer need to fund 2 days in advance. We're talking about hundreds of billions, if not trillions, in annual flow just through this 2-day savings. Um, which is why we chose NatPay over all the other processors out there, because they were aligned with our vision as Zebec for real-time payroll. They are a member of FedNow. They're ISO 2022 compliant, which is a key milestone for Zebec this year, as well as we beef up our compliance. So it's really been a strong partnership in the few weeks now that we've been live. But next year, we're really going to expand our presence in US payroll. And a lot of the clients that are already working with NatPay will now easily be able to work with Zebec because we're already plugged in and integrated into their network.
Can you explain, just for the viewers watching, what that process looks like when companies would be streaming payroll when NatPay is integrated?
So they'll be using NatPay for essentially the on and the off ramp. So if they're going to be moving money into stables, NatPay will do
Hmm.
instant conversion through our partnership with Circle that has now created a USDC stablecoin, and then the streaming happens on Zebec Rails. For
Okay.
clients that want to do payouts, it's the same idea, but in the other order, right? You have USDC that you're receiving your payroll in, and then it can go to a bank account, whether that's a business bank account or an individual's bank account, using NatPay's real-time ACH.
Obviously, anyone who follows me knows I'm very interested in XRP. I post a lot about XRP. And with that being said, obviously, I follow Ripple and I see everything that they're doing, all their quiet moves. And it's really interesting. When I came across Zebec and came across you, you reminded me a lot of Ripple with these very quiet moves that you guys are making and how big of an impact it's going to have in the future. Do people ever tell you this?
We hear it all the time, and we're very flattered because Ripple is a pioneer in
Yeah.
our industry and has led in payments for so many years. We've learned a lot from Ripple. We respect them immensely, and we're excited to be doing more and more with them.
Since they have been a pioneer in the space, how would you say they've influenced you over the years? Maybe how have you learned from them with what they've gone through, obviously with the SEC?
It's a great question. I mean, Ripple and Zebec are tackling similar problems. I mean,
Hmm.
Ripple's focus has mostly been institutional and B2B payments cross border, which were in a massive need of an upgrade. I mean, let's be
Hmm.
honest, right?
Yeah.
Why wait days to settle a business payment? How can you run a business that way? So, Ripple has made enormous strides in making that part of the financial sector a little bit more real time. And Zebec is tackling the payroll problem, right? Which is an $11 trillion industry, arguably even larger than B2B cross-border payments. Um, and it's in the same way a relic stuck in the past, right? Why
Hmm.
are we dealing with monthly or biweekly pay cycles when with today's technology, there's very little, if no incremental cost to pay people in real time on the blockchain? So that's, the analogies between the two companies. Obviously, Ripple has gone through its own SEC battle, which we've watched
Hmm.
from the sidelines, but we are also a US company, right? We're founded in the US.
Yeah.
Most of our team is in the US. Most of our clients are in the US. And because of that, we've had, to really watch and learn with what they've done to make sure that, we're in a compliant stage ourselves. And I think with, the change recently in the administration in the US and more pro crypto policies coming into place, we're in a very good spot right now as being a blockchain payroll leader in the US.
Amazing. So you guys are going to be launching your super app soon. Can you tell me about your super app and how everything?
Finally, we get the word about the super app. That's what I've been waiting for. That's what the main part of the video is, but we'll see what they have to say. But the super app is about to put a Zebec on the map. Let me know what you guys think about the super app and when is it coming out. Put a fire emoji in the chat if you like the video so far.
Will be in one place?
Yeah, so the super app is going to be a step change increase for the Zebec product suite. I'm super excited about it. We're going to now finally have Zebec cards and Zebec payroll streaming under one roof. So users will be able to move funds seamlessly from their streams to their cards. They'll be able to on and off ramp. And just yesterday, we announced a super exciting integration with Stripe. through their Privy
yeah.
wallet. So Stripe has their own blockchain wallet now, which will let users who don't have a wallet, for example, be able to use the super app when Privy goes live, because they'll now have a native wallet in it. And with Privy, it also opens the doors up to the Stripe ecosystem, right? And Stripe processes about 1.4 trillion a year in annual volume. And now users will be able to take stablecoins from the Zebec super app and do payouts globally across the Stripe network. So let's say you're in a foreign country and you want to pay out to a debit card where we may not have a direct bank connectivity.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's a card that connects to the Stripe Visa or MasterCard network, the payout can easily occur in seconds.
What industries are you going to be seeing adopting this technology first?
Well, on the payroll side, we've seen a lot of traction in certain industries in the US. One has been healthcare, the other has been hospitality, and the third has
Mm-hmm.
been logistics. Especially in the logistics industry, I mean, a lot of it is very mileage based, time based. So there's been a lot of real demand from the truckers and the people that are working at these logistic companies to have real time payment for their work that is tied to the number of hours they worked or the miles they drive, and also have expenses paid through Zebec card. So that was one of our
Mm-hmm.
first use cases, and we've built up a good portfolio of logistics clients over at our PayBridge
Wow.
business, which is based in Ohio. Um, but the super app, and I would call our card technology, it's mostly for retail users. So we've seen a lot of growth in the cards just organically through word of mouth, through online discussions this year. But the super app
Mm-hmm.
is going to improve the user experience so much more that you'll be able to see all your transactions and manage everything within a single app, that I think growth next year is going to pick up exponentially.
What are some of the institutional companies you guys have been working with in 2025 and leading into 2026?
Great question. I'd say if you look at 2026, or sorry, 2025 in summation, given that we're at the end of the year now, one of the big themes for Zebec has been institutional partnerships, which in my view has been the best validation for our product and thesis that one could get. In September, we announced a partnership with Deutsche Bank's very own Euro
Mm.
stablecoin, which was our first full expansion to the EU, which was quickly followed by our MiCA certification as a company, which is super exciting. So I think into 2026, we're going to see more and more of these, tier one institutions working with Zebec, particularly as we go live with our ISO 2022 compliance by the end of this year, which is more of a green light for institutions to say that, well, Zebec is compliant to the highest
Mm-hmm.
standards for payments globally. So they're more able to and comfortable working with us.
So, how behind is Europe in terms of stable coins compared to the US with adoption? Because I know, obviously, in America, we have now regulations regarding stable coins, but what do you see happening in 2026 with the majority of Europe?
It is safe to say that Europe is a little bit behind the rest of the world. I think if you look at statistics on stablecoin adoption, it's really Asia and the US that lead the way. Europe has been a bit heavy-handed in regulation, which is what they seem to do best. I think, putting the MiCA rules out very early on
Hmm.
gave people hope that there would be leadership in crypto in the EU. I think that has slowed a lot given the US has advanced so much this year. The UK is finally starting to get its act together, but we really don't do too much in the UK at this point outside of our
Okay.
science card business. Um, so I think, if we see, continued change.
What up, Crypto Clay? Yo, yo, yo. What up, fam? What up, Crypto Clay? Thanks for joining. Bree is a goddamn smoke show. Sorry, not sorry. Possibly, but it's adoption and it is help getting the word out, right? He literally explained the Stellar coming in January. The super app will revolutionize crypto, be your own little miniature bank in your pocket. And Bree has like 1.7 million, 1.5 million freaking followers. So just the audience, right? It's going to be a lot of people looking into Zebec real soon. So let me know what you think about the video so far. And also, what was that? She mentioned the black card and the silver card, and also mentioned that she's using it herself. Simon talked about logistic companies using it, hospitals adopting it, and how big NetPay was. So let's get back to it. But it's a lot of good information in the video.
The US and other parts of the world. We're hoping that Europe will catch up, but they do remain a little bit behind.
Speaking about the UK, a lot obviously is going on in the UK with digital ID and them creating a wallet that will basically have everything from terms of healthcare to people's income in this one single app. How do you think this will affect what you guys are doing with real-time payroll? Do you think this is going to be a big challenge for you? Do you think you'll ever be able to tap into the UK market?
One of our core beliefs at Zebec is that privacy is paramount to everything when it comes to your money. And we work now with a lot of privacy protocols because we view one of the big industry trends that are going to continue into 2026 is the demand for privacy, users' control over their data. You don't want the whole world knowing how much you're getting paid, let alone having this all in a government app. So in short, I'd say no, we're not looking at integration there. We
Good.
believe the whole ethos of blockchain is about your own freedom, your own privacy, being able to do what you want with your funds. And Zebec is going to continue to build towards that vision. And we've seen that resonate really well in certain parts of the world, primarily the US. Where I think people believe in our vision a lot more than potentially European countries, where the government can be a little bit more heavy-handed in controlling its populations. Yeah, you guys are an amazing company. I'm so impressed. And like I said, I came across you over the summer because I use your silver and your carbon cards, but you guys so much more than even that. Can we just discuss too how important this is going to be for the average worker? We talked about obviously people in America these days are living paycheck to paycheck, and it's very hard just making ends meet, but having more control over your money to even be able to invest it for these companies not to just be holding your money and creating interest. Can we just talk about how important this is going to be to the everyday person? Well, it's going to be a paradigm shift in the way that we think about money as a people. I mean, right now, one of the biggest challenges for people to make ends meet is simply the 14-day budgeting period between when they receive their paycheck to their next paycheck. And this will eliminate this. And I think you're going to see, a decline in the consumer finance business, which is essentially just lived off the fact that people are having trouble making ends meet. So as we grow market share, as we grow adoption, we're going to see, a big reduction in the fees and the interest that are paid by everyday people. And to my hope, we're going to see, a better quality of life for all Americans and people around the world that use Zebec. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about ZBCN. What type of market cap do you think we could possibly see, just, based off pure speculation in 2026? Yeah, I mean, our community has just grown month over month, which is really a testament to all the hard work that our team is doing to deliver, top level partnerships, product expansions, and we take a lot of care in making sure that the community is updated on all of our great progress. So we host spaces, I think, more frequently than almost any crypto company out there, which again is something I'm really proud of because I think communication is the most important thing when you have, hundreds of thousands of people that are technically all holders and investors in the Zebec ecosystem. It's incredibly important to keep everyone up to date on, the company, our strategy, and our roadmap. So please continue to expect more spaces coming from us. We'll have our roadmap spaces in January. We have a stablecoin summit that we're working on, and I think we'll be even announcing the spaces later today with Stripe and Privy, which is going to be at the end of the week. So everyone stay tuned for that. In terms of price talk, I'm sure that's one of the number one things on everyone's mind. I cannot speak about it. I will not speak about it. At the end of the day, we're here to build product. We're here to build a company. The price of the token obviously is a validation of our success, but at the same time, it is also at the whims of the market, which are completely out of our control. I do feel really good about 2026. I know what is in our pipeline. I've seen the growth this year, so I'm expecting us to see, very, very strong performance next year. Okay, great. Just had to ask. I
I'm
know.
a I'm a ZBCN holder, so you know, just curious. Yeah, you guys do amazing spaces. That's one thing that I've noticed you do, I think, better than any other company I follow. You really keep your entire base informed of partnerships and really what's going on, and I really admire that. I think it's amazing what you guys are doing, and you really are bringing more power to the everyday person, especially through these difficult times. Well, is there anything else you would like to share with my community about Zebec and what you guys are doing?
Well, if anyone in your community is a hockey fan or a basketball fan, Zebec has been a season sponsor of 6 teams. We had a little bit of a slow start, given that we were the first crypto project to ever advertise in the NHL. So it took us a couple weeks to get all of the ads approved by the league, but they are now going live. We had a game in St. Louis about a week and a half ago. We had a game. We have a game coming up on Thursday night in Minnesota. We're going to be sponsoring the Wild for a couple of games, so you'll see our ads up there next to our partners at Uphold, which is
Yeah.
our preferred U.S. exchange, where a lot of people buy and hold Zebec tokens. So it was a match made in heaven. So keep an eye out for more hockey games and NBA games. We'll be posting that from our Twitter. And then for any of our soccer fans, we are going live with European football in February. We will be sponsoring the German Bundesliga. So all the top teams in Germany will be sponsoring
Wow.
for the month of February onwards, as we're kind of in the second half of their season. So for all of our European users, please stay tuned. But this is really a statement, a testament to Zebec's global ambitions. I mean, the US is our home, but we do want to take over the world and become a
Yeah.
household name everywhere you go.
Everyone should have the right to real-time payroll. I do actually want to ask you one other
Exactly.
thing. So I have seen that you do have a partnership with Uphold. Can you touch a little bit more on that?
Yes, so our Uphold partnership has evolved over the year. I mean, at first they were really an exchange and a wallet platform that users could buy and hold Zebec tokens in. Since then, it's morphed into a bigger institutional partnership where we now custody part of the Zebec treasury on Uphold. And then the third wave has been something that we
Mm,
announced in October, which is the direct deposit program, which is our way of giving back to the Uphold community. So if you are someone that deposits your paycheck in the US into
mhm.
Uphold through their direct deposit program, you will get a bonus in XRP tokens
Oh,
and
wow.
Zebec tokens. Yes.
Wow.
So if you're somebody that wants to get, to build your bags and build your
Mhm.
investments in these tokens, this is a great program for you. It runs through the end of the year officially. But I know in 2026, we have another big promotion plan with Uphold.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, I was hearing about this program.
So another big promotion coming from Uphold. I wonder what that is. But as you mentioned through the whole interview, it's a whole lot coming in 2026. You thought 2025 was big. You ain't seen nothing yet. I'm holding. I am too, Benny. C. I'm definitely holder. I love milk duds. Clay, what are you talking about? I know what you're talking about. I'm just saying, what are you talking about? Anyway, let's get back to the video and finish out this last, looks like actually a minute and a second. Then we'll get back over to X and see what's going on.
Recently. Actually, my brother told me about that, and I found it really interesting, but honestly, I forgot to do more research on what Uphold was doing. So that's great information that people can look more into, and I hope that continues in 2026.
Absolutely will.
Thank you so much for joining me today and sharing all the information about what you're doing with Zebec to my audience. I really appreciate it. Can you tell us where everyone could follow you and follow Zebec to learn more?
Find us on Twitter. I mean, we post updates every day. Join one of our spaces to really get into the details about what we're building at Zebec. Research our token. It's listed on many global exchanges as well as a few in the US, including Uphold. Um, and we welcome anyone to join our Telegram groups, our Discord groups, our Twitter spaces,
Mhm.
so that they can feel like they're part of the Zebec community and really become part of this grassroots movement that we have to change payroll for the better. Thank you, Bri. This is great. Appreciate having me on.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Free the Money.
So join the Zebec Army, the Zebec Nation, the Zebec Warriors, the Pirates, and the Zebec Millionaires. So let me know what you guys think about that video so far. This is another quick short talking about a integration you have with NetPay. CEO Zebec Simon breaks down Zebec's latest integration with NetPay. NetPay is the only U.S. payroll processor in the FedNow program, a fully ISO 20022, what does he say, 2022 compliant member of NACHA. I don't know if I'm even saying that right. Real-time compliance built for 24/7 settlement. And this is Crypto Queen. Do I smell the ZBCN network listing? And that's from the Solana. Every Solana token will be available instantly to trade by 100 million users on Coinbase. Solana is the new standard. This is Alpha Lion. Payroll, Payroll Growth Partners GPG of the Zebec Network has partnered with NetPay, one of the nation's largest ACH document distribution providers, to power PayBridge next generation payroll and distribution platform. NetPay processes over 170 billion annually for 300,000 plus ACH clients, giving PayBridge bank grade direct deposit, pay card, and paperless distribution infrastructure. PayBridge, the PGP portfolio leader, processing 300 million in annual payroll volume, will now combine NetPay's proven TradeFi engine with Zebec Network's programmable real-time stable rails. This unified system lets employers run payrolls through ACH wires, FedNow, and optional Web3 rails from one compliant platform. Built on the ISO 2000 or 222 messaging and connecting to FedNow's instant payment rail, the partnership creates a future-proof 24/7 payroll and treasury engine. Initial features include direct deposit, pay cards, paperless pay stubs with phased rollouts for stablecoin payroll, earn wage access, cross-border distributions. Sleep on Zebec and regret it later. Shout out to Alpha Lion. And this is Throbbing Lantern. What is the Zebec's role? So we went through that already. You can already see there's massive amounts of video spawning off from her video. So far from Solana, Zebec is about to run on Stellar Network next from beginning of 2026 Q1, and more networks coming in the future. Nothing can stop the Zebec train. Adventure, here I come. And this is Noah, Stars in the Wild, and you can see there. Is this a Zebec? It's actually a banner. Did y'all see the game? Anybody see this? Or is this one of those? Oh wow, it's in the middle of the court too. You missed this whole one. Or it's just like one of those AI renderings. So I don't know, but then wait, that's the Stars. Hold up, wait a minute. Shout out to the Dallas Stars, Texas in the building. This is the Zebec Man is coming. I don't know if this is a song or what. Let's check it out real quick.
Is this all they've got?
Even if it is breached, it would take a number beyond reckoning, thousands to storm the key.
Tens of thousands.
But, my lord, there is no such force.
We're fucked. But I have a solution. Release the Kraken. To the right! Launch your daggers! Holy shit! Take cover! How in the hell is ZBCN man still alive? Destroyers. Embrace the gates. Brace the gap.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you can watch the rest of the video on the BTM Crypto News Network. But I don't know why the sound isn't there. It's kind of weird. Got choked up on the drink. It's trying to come back, and I don't know. But I mean, I guess we'll go here for a second. See if I can clear my throat.
What have we done?
Okay, there we go. And I don't know, is the video kind of like going in and out, just regular, or is it because it's on the live stream? I gotta check that out later. But it is on the BTM Crypto News Network, so you can check it out as well. This is Zebec plus DTCC. We're all building the rails together. In the background, now it's coming into clear view for us all. Ripple, Stellar, Zebec, Uphold, plans with plans. Let's go. We'll look at that a minute ago. The train's coming. This is Slap Your Mama. 1212 will be remembered. Definitely going down. Right? It's going down, or it went down on 1212. And these are from yesterday. So let's go over this video. Our favorite AI generator that you guys hate. But these guys are really on something with the information. So this is Zebec versus traditional finance, the battle for money movement. Let's get to it. Shout out to your main man BTM. Thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and super chat. And let me know what you guys think. You guys aren't talking. There's no comments. What's going on? Are you there? Are you here? What up? Is there anybody here? So let's get back to this video, and I'll be here.
Finance and the future of digital payments. And what if I told you that this project isn't just another token hoping for a pump, but a legitimate technology that could fundamentally change how money moves around the world? Welcome back to Crypto Journal. Today, we're diving deep into Zebec Network and its potential integration with ISO 20022, a topic that almost nobody is talking about, but that could have massive implications for the future of crypto adoption. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why this could be one of the most important developments in crypto right now. Before we get into the technical details, let me ask you something. Have you ever sent money internationally? Maybe you've used Western Union or a bank wire transfer, or even PayPal. How long did it take? A few days? How much did it cost you? $10? 20? 50? Now imagine sending that same amount of money in seconds for a fraction of a cent. That's not science fiction. That's what Zebec Network is building right now. But here's where it gets interesting. Zebec isn't just building another payment solution. They're building it in a way that could make it compatible with ISO 20022, which is the new global standard for financial messaging. And if you don't know what ISO 20022 is, don't worry, we're going to break it all down. Let me paint you a picture of what's happening in traditional finance right now. Every single day, trillions of dollars move through the global financial system. Banks talk to other banks. Payment processors talk to merchants. Governments talk to central banks. And all of this communication happens through messaging standards. For decades, the dominant standard has been something called SWIFT-MT, which is basically the language that banks use to communicate with each other. But here's the problem. SWIFT-MT was designed in the 1970s. Think about that for a second. The technology that powers the majority of global financial transactions was designed when disco was popular, when people were using typewriters, when the internet didn't exist. It's outdated, it's limited, and it can't handle the complexity of modern finance. That's where ISO 20022 comes in. ISO 20022 is the new standard, and it's not just an upgrade, it's a complete revolution. Instead of the limited, rigid format of SWIFT-MT, ISO 20022 uses a rich, flexible data format that can carry much more information. We're talking about detailed payment information, full remittance data, structured addresses, everything that modern businesses and regulators need. And here's the kicker. ISO 20022 isn't some distant future plan. It's happening right now. SWIFT began its migration to ISO 20022 in November 2022. And by November 2025, which is basically now, the transition is nearly complete. Major central banks around the world are adopting it. The Federal Reserve's FedNow service uses it. The European central banks Target 2 uses it. The Bank of England, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, they're all moving to ISO 20022. So why does this matter for crypto? Because if a cryptocurrency project can integrate with ISO 20022, it means that crypto can speak the same language as banks, as payment processors, as the entire traditional financial system. It's not about replacing the system. It's about becoming part of it, becoming the bridge that connects the old world with the new. Now let's talk about Zebec Network. Zebec launched with a vision that was actually ahead of its time. They wanted to create programmable cash flow, which means instead of sending money in one lump sum, you could stream it continuously. Imagine getting paid by the second instead of waiting for your paycheck at the end of the month. Imagine paying your rent by the day instead of in one big payment. That's what Zebec enables. But the team at Zebec realized something important. Programmable cash flow is amazing, but to really change the world, you need to integrate with the existing financial infrastructure. You can't just build a parallel system and hope everyone switches over. You need to build bridges. And that's exactly what they're doing with their focus on ISO 20022 compatibility. Here's how this could work in practice. Right now, when a business wants to make an international payment, they go through their bank. The bank uses SWIFT to send a message to the receiving bank. This message contains basic information about the payment. Then the receiving bank processes it and credits the recipient's account. This process takes days and costs significant money and fees. With Zebec integrated into the ISO 20022 ecosystem, imagine this instead. A business initiates a payment using the ISO 20022 standard message format. But instead of going through the traditional banking rails, the payment is processed on the Zebec network using their native token ZBCN. The transaction settles in seconds, not days. The fees are a tiny fraction of what traditional banks charge. And because it's using the ISO 20022 format, all the necessary compliance information, all the regulatory requirements. Everything is built right into the transaction. The receiving party gets their money almost instantly, and they can choose to receive it in crypto or have it automatically converted to their local fiat currency. The business saves money. The recipient gets their money faster. And the whole thing is compliant with international financial regulations because it's using the standardized ISO 20022 format. Now I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, this sounds too good to be true. Why hasn't someone done this already? Well, the truth is, it's incredibly complex. Building a blockchain that's fast, secure enough, and scalable enough to handle real-world payment volume is hard. Making it compatible with ISO 20022 standards requires deep understanding of both traditional finance and blockchain technology. And getting buy-in from traditional financial institutions requires credibility, partnerships, and a proven track record. Zebec has been quietly building all of these things. They've been developing their technology, forming partnerships, and positioning themselves at the intersection of DeFi and traditional finance. Their Zebec chain is designed to be high performance, capable of handling thousands of transactions per second with extremely low fees. This isn't theoretical, this is working technology. Let's talk about some specific use cases where Zebec's ISO 20022 integration could be revolutionary. First, cross-border remittances. Right now, there are hundreds of millions of people around the world who send money back to their families in other countries. They use services like Western Union or MoneyGram, and they pay astronomical fees, sometimes 10 or 15% of the amount they're sending. With Zebec, these same people could send money using a mobile app. The transaction would settle in seconds, and the fees would be pennies instead of dozens of dollars. Second, business-to-business payments. Companies that operate internationally often have to deal with the nightmare of cross-border payments. The delays, the fees, the complexity of compliance. It's a huge pain point. Zebec could streamline all of this. A company in the United States could pay a supplier in Vietnam instantly, with full compliance and regulatory reporting baked into the transaction through the ISO 20022 format. Third, payroll streaming. This is where Zebec's original vision really shines. Imagine you're a company with employees all over the world. Instead of dealing with multiple payroll providers, multiple banking relationships, and the complexity of paying everyone at different times in different currencies, you could use Zebec to stream payments to your employees continuously. They get paid in real time for the work they do, and the whole system is automated and compliant with international standards. Fourth, supply chain finance. This is a massive market that's ripe for disruption. In traditional supply chain finance, there are often weeks or even months of delays between when a product is shipped and when the supplier gets paid. This creates cash flow problems for smaller suppliers and makes the whole system inefficient. With Zebec, payments could be automated and streamed based on real-world events. When a shipment reaches a certain milestone, payment flows automatically. Everything is transparent, everything is fast, and everything is compliant. Now let's talk about the technology behind this. Zebec Network runs on Zebec Chain, which is a layer 1 blockchain built specifically for high-performance payments. It uses a proof-of-stake consensus mechanism, which means it's energy efficient and can process transactions quickly. The chain is designed to handle massive throughput, which is essential if you're going to compete with traditional payment processors like Visa or MasterCard. But here's what makes it special for ISO 20022 integration. The Zebec protocol can encode ISO 20022 compliant data structures directly into blockchain transactions. This means that when you make a payment on Zebec, all the rich data that ISO 20022 requires, things like detailed sender information, recipient information, purpose of payment, regulatory codes, all of that can be included in the transaction in a standardized format. This is huge because it means that Zebec transactions can be read and processed by traditional financial systems without any special translation layer. A bank that's using ISO 20022 can receive information from the Zebec network and understand it natively. This dramatically lowers the barrier to adoption. The ZBCN token itself plays a crucial role in this ecosystem. It's not just a speculative asset, it's the fuel that powers the network. Every transaction on Zebec requires a small amount of ZBCN for gas fees. But more importantly, ZBCN is being positioned as a bridge asset for cross-currency transactions. When you're sending value from one currency to another, ZBCN can serve as the intermediate asset that facilitates the swap. Think of it like this. If someone in the US wants to send dollars to someone in Japan who wants to receive yen, the transaction could go dollars to ZBCN to yen, all in a matter of seconds. Because ZBCN is liquid and available on the Zebec network, it can facilitate these swaps efficiently and cheaply. There's also a staking component to ZBCN. Token holders can stake their tokens to help secure the network and earn rewards. This creates economic incentives for people to hold and use ZBCN rather than just trading it. And as the network grows and processes more transactions, the demand for ZBCN increases because it's needed for fees and as a bridge asset. Now I want to address something important: regulatory compliance. One of the biggest challenges facing crypto adoption is the uncertain regulatory environment. Governments around the world are trying to figure out how to regulate digital assets, and in many cases, the lack of clear rules has held back institutional adoption. This is where ISO 20022 compatibility becomes a massive advantage. ISO 20022 was designed with regulatory compliance in mind. It includes fields for all the information that regulators care about: anti-money laundering requirements, know your customer data, sanction screening information. All of it can be embedded in an ISO 20022 message. If Zebec can demonstrate that transactions on their network meet the same compliance standards as traditional financial transactions, it opens the door to institutional adoption. Banks could potentially integrate Zebec into their payment flows without worrying about running afoul of regulations. Fintech companies could build on top of Zebec, knowing that compliance is built into the infrastructure. This is not something to underestimate. Regulatory compliance is often cited as the biggest barrier to crypto adoption by traditional financial institutions. If Zebec can solve this problem through ISO 20022 integration, they're removing one of the main obstacles to mainstream adoption. Let's zoom out for a minute and talk about the bigger picture. The financial system is going through a massive transformation right now. We're seeing the rise of central bank digital currencies. We're seeing traditional financial institutions exploring blockchain technology. We're seeing the lines between crypto and traditional finance starting to blur. In this environment, the projects that will succeed are the ones that can bridge both worlds. It's not enough to build cool technology. You need to build technology that can integrate with existing systems. You need to speak the language of traditional finance while bringing the benefits of blockchain technology. Zebec Network is positioning itself to be exactly that bridge. By focusing on ISO 20022 compatibility, they're essentially saying, we're not trying to replace the financial system, we're trying to upgrade it. We're bringing blockchain efficiency, speed, and low costs to the existing infrastructure. This is a smart strategy because it aligns with where the market is actually going. Major banks aren't going to abandon their existing systems overnight, but they are looking for ways to make those systems better, faster, and cheaper. If Zebec can offer that through ISO 20022 integration, there's a real path to adoption. I also want to talk about the competitive landscape. Zebec is not the only project thinking about payments and blockchain. You've got Ripple, which has been fighting its legal battle, but has always positioned itself as a bridge between crypto and traditional banking. You've got Stellar, which focuses on cross-border payments. You've got newer projects like Hedera that are working with traditional institutions. What differentiates Zebec is the combination of programmable cash flow and ISO 20022 focus. The ability to stream payments continuously, to automate payment flows, that's something unique. Most blockchain payment solutions still think in terms of one-off transactions. Zebec is thinking about continuous, programmable money flow. And when you combine that with ISO 20022 compatibility, you get something really powerful. There's also the question of network effects. In payments, network effects are everything. A payment network is only valuable if lots of people use it. This is why credit cards are so dominant, why PayPal is so widely used. They have network effects. Everyone accepts them because everyone uses them. For Zebec to succeed, they need to build those network effects. They need merchants to accept ZBCN payments. They need exchanges to list ZBCN. They need wallets to integrate Zebec. They need developers to build on Zebec chain. This is a long game, but the ISO 20022 angle could accelerate it significantly. If traditional financial institutions start integrating with Zebec because of its compliance-friendly approach, that could bring millions of users into the ecosystem very quickly. Let me give you a concrete example of how this might play out. Imagine a major remittance company. Let's say a company that specializes in sending money from the US to Latin America. This company is currently using traditional banking rails. They're paying high fees to banks. Their transactions take days to settle, and their customers are frustrated with the cost and speed. Now imagine this company discovers Zebec. They realize that by integrating Zebec's technology, they could offer instant transfers at a fraction of the cost. Because Zebec uses ISO 20022 standards, the integration is relatively straightforward. All their compliance requirements are met. They pilot the program with a small percentage of transactions. It works great. Customers love it. So they scale it up. Suddenly, thousands or tens of thousands of transactions are flowing through the Zebec network every day. The demand for ZBCN increases because it's needed to process these transactions. More liquidity comes into the ecosystem. Other companies see the success and want to integrate too. You start to get that flywheel effect where success breeds more success. This is not fantasy. This is exactly how new technologies get adopted. Early adopters test it out. If it works and provides real value, more people adopt it. Eventually, it reaches a tipping point where it becomes the standard. The timing for all of this is actually perfect. As I mentioned earlier, the transition to ISO 20022 is happening right now. Financial institutions around the world are upgrading their systems. They're investing in new infrastructure. This is the moment when a project like Zebec can slide in and say, hey, while you're upgrading anyway, why not integrate blockchain technology at the same time? It'll make your new system even better. If Zebec had tried to do this 5 years ago, it would have been too early. Banks weren't ready. The technology wasn't mature enough. ISO 20022 wasn't widely adopted yet. But now, in 2024 and 2025, all the pieces are coming together. The timing is right. Of course, there are risks and challenges. Technology is hard. Regulation is unpredictable. Competition is fierce. There's no guarantee that Zebec will succeed. But the potential is enormous. If they can execute on their vision, if they can truly become the bridge between traditional finance and crypto through ISO 20022 integration, we're talking about a project that could process trillions of dollars in transactions. Think about the market opportunity. The global payments market is worth over $200 trillion annually. Cross-border payments alone are worth about $150 trillion. If Zebec can capture even a tiny fraction of that market, even 1%, we're talking about huge numbers. And remember, in crypto, value tends to accrue to the tokens that power successful networks. If the Zebec network becomes widely used for payments, the demand for ZBCN will increase. Basic economics tells us that when demand increases and supply is limited, price goes up. Now, I'm not here to tell you that ZBCN is going to 100x or that you should mortgage your house to buy it. I'm not a financial advisor, and you should always do your own research. But what I am telling you is that this is a project worth paying attention to. The technology is interesting. The use case is real. The timing is right. And the potential is massive. As we wrap up, I want you to think about this. The future of finance is not going to be purely crypto, and it's not going to be purely traditional banking. It's going to be a hybrid. It's going to be blockchain technology integrated with existing financial infrastructure, bringing the best of both worlds. Fast, cheap, transparent transactions combined with regulatory compliance and institutional trust. Zebec Network and its focus on ISO 20022 integration represents exactly that future. It's a project that understands that adoption doesn't come from revolution, it comes from integration. It comes from building bridges, not walls. So keep an eye on Zebec. Watch what partnerships they announce. Watch how their technology develops. Watch whether traditional financial institutions start integrating with them. Because if this plays out the way it could, we might look back in a few years and realize that Zebec was one of the projects that helped bring crypto into the mainstream. That's it for today's deep dive on Crypto Journal. If you found this valuable, make sure you hit
So shout out to Crypto Journey. There's a lot of deep information from this guy. And I would actually want to know who's actually making these videos and where they're getting their information from, because it is pretty good. But let me know what you guys think. I'm trying to find this video from Grow Rich and Grow Happy. Uh, start this in a minute. But also, what did you think about the crypto journey video and the deep dive from Zebec and traditional finance? How Zebec is bringing finance to the future. Let's go. Actually, it's weird because I was trying to find something else. But let me bring this over here and run this video real quick from Grow Rich Grow Happy. What up, Brock? What's going on, fam? Brock Trip, what's going on? Let's go, Zebec. So let's run this video. I guess we'll shut it down unless another video pops up. But let's see what Grow Rich and Grow.
Today's message: those who fear solitude will never reach the heights of their potential because they will always need someone else to push them. A warrior learns how to push themselves. Welcome back, all my free thinkers, to another episode of Grow Rich, Grow Happy, that place where we follow the breadcrumbs to wealth. And I have reports. I took copious notes today, right here, and of the Zebec spaces. You guys knew I said I was going to report on that today. And I don't know why I even asked. They didn't disappoint. They actually gave, it was straight to the point. Let's put it that way. It was roughly 36 minutes, all in all, about 33 minutes. It's a great listen. I did put it over on my X account. Make sure you follow me on X at Mr. Foresight 64. But I heard some things in it I'm going to break down. Now, on their X spaces, they had Simon, them from Privy. They had Alex from Hypernative. And of course, you had Ben there as always. I want to shout out Ben. He does an outstanding job as a host. But and I want to shout out AJ as well. I think it's AJ. I think it's TJ or AJ. Sorry if I screwed that up. But they did a great job of breaking down the future of where they see things in 5 years. But I heard something else when I zoomed out and looked at it from the way I look at things. I heard something else. I believe the key to this is a blind user experience. That's why Zebec is going to dominate in this, not only this crypto space, but this payroll space. And why? Just knowing what I know and seeing and examining the things that they talked about explains why this is a great opportunity and why so many of you should be sharing this with as many people as you can and that you care about, especially being that they're going to be accessible on Coinbase. So all of that is a win-win, but I believe it was a great listen, and I'm going to break it down and give it to you in a way that everyone understands it and that you can't forget it. So you like episodes like this, make sure you smash that like button, give me a sub, hit that bell notification so that you don't miss any of these episodes. And look down below, get your cold storage wallet. I offer a tangible 10% discount, that is. That 10% does go to support this channel. Also, swing over to growrichgrowhappy.com if you want to learn a little bit more about crypto. Some of the beginner type stuff, I have a lot of articles over there that are absolutely free. And if you want to step it up a little bit and understand how to get out your own way, pick up my book, Coming Self for Crypto Wealth. That's over there as well as in the download edition and a paperback edition. So make sure you swing over there, growrichgrowhappy.com. So we're going to get straight to it. So I listened to it. And I paused throughout, taking copious notes like I do. I'm a nerd. What can I say? And the biggest thing that I took away from this is that Zebec in the beginning, let's put it this way, in the beginning when they was building things since 2021, they were mainly, and I'm going to give you a way to look at this, they were mainly concentrating on the institutions and business side. I liken that to if a new structure was going up and a new building was being erected, you're going to mainly focus on the structure, the beams, make sure it's on level ground, make sure a hurricane or something that comes along cannot knock it over. You're going to get your investors. You're going to make sure you have investors in this project. Zebec has already done that on the beginning end when they got Solana, when they got Coinbase Ventures, and they got all of that. They set that up. They set the business side up before they broke ground. They broke ground. They got the structure up. They started focusing on the public and who are we going to be serving, because we need to know who we are going to be serving so that we can make sure we get the right people in it. I've overseen a hospital project that went up when I overseen a number of hospitals, and I overseen the opening of a hospital. And I can tell you that's a big job because you got to understand and know, okay, what is the public expecting? But things you got to look at, you know, what type of people are you going to have in there? Meaning, you're going to have a pharmacy, hopefully. And if you don't have a pharmacy, you're going to have a way that people can get their scripts super easy in your new location. And you're going to make sure you have a podiatrist. You're going to make sure you have all the different modalities that people are going to need in that particular hospital. So that's going to be part of the overview and the plan. Zebec has done that. Try not to get off track. I want you guys to understand this. I'm trying to give it to you in a way that you understand. They've done that with the structure. So once you get the structure up, you know what your business type is, the businesses you got coming in, then you're going to say, okay, now we got to figure out how we're going to get people in here. And they did that. And they did that. They're going to do that, shall I say, with this new partnership that they have with Stripe slash Privy. Privy is the actual wallet that's connected, you know, through Stripe. With that right there, because the public, let's face it, the public don't give a damn about really crypto. The main users, they're looking at that they can get paid around the clock. So they're coming into your new structure, hence the structure here being Zebec's super app, which from listening to it, I see it coming probably within the next couple of weeks. That's the way they kind of hinted at it. They said the next couple of weeks with, you know, the super app and Privy and all of that being integrated. So I expect to hear something. Just for those of you who wondering, they did not say anything about their ISO compliance being complete. And as of right now, their website still doesn't show that it has been completed. It is still in progress, but based on yesterday's post that they made, I'm going to say maybe it's done already, and maybe they're just waiting and then, you know, crossing their T's and dotting their I's before they actually update it on their website. But back to this. So now you got that. You got your wall up, you got your structure, you know it is not going to fall because you have partnered with the best. So you got Privy, and the reason you're using Privy is mainly because one, they're linked to Stripe. Stripe is global. They've done $1.4 trillion just in 2025. So you know you got the best, and you know people and institutions trust who? They trust Stripe. So that compliance side is already sold up, because at the end of the day, people don't care about the crypto portion as much as they care about how am I going to get my money around the clock. Is it spendable? Meaning, do I have to worry about connecting the wallets and how I'm going to do all this? They don't have to worry about that with Privy, because you don't have to worry about having any kind of special keys that you need to remember. It's just the social login, which is easy, which is everybody uses. Anybody who uses any kind of money app like the bank or whatever, they probably can hold it up to their face and they can log in. Or if you use any kind of cash apps to send money, it's not hard. You don't worry about how the background is working. You're just worried about how do I send money from point A to point B. And that is what Privy is going to allow Zebec to do. Not only that, it's going to have an inflow of people coming in, guys. From listening to it and seeing it how I see it, Zebec is going to explode. That's not financial advice. I just can't contain it, and I can't downplay it considering what they're doing. They made sure they connected with the right people. So back to this. Now we're going to round it out with what else they got to get. So now once this structure is up, trust me, I've been there working with having this hospital, having the ground, having this hospital open. Then you have to worry about security, because if you don't have security, you got some rowdy folks that's going to come in. And when it comes to cryptocurrency, you're going to have some people come in with malicious intent trying to take this money. Well, when you're dealing with big institutions like they're dealing with, and you're dealing with something as fragile as people's payroll, you got to make sure you have the best security it is. So who do you go out and get? You go out and get Hypernative, because they're the number one. They're working that back end. They're working to prevent things from happening and also be able to see things happening before things get out of control, and they let Zebec know this is what's happening. These are the things that are changing in the space. So now you got the security in line right there. And when you're dealing with major institutions and you're dealing with people's money, and hence they're going to be able to deal with government funds, you want to make sure you got the top security available, which is Hypernative. So in a nutshell, that is what that entire spaces was about today. The customer experience, and this is to be able to get in the app. This they have that I believe is going to be nothing past phenomenal. Nothing past phenomenal. That don't sound right. Let's just say phenomenal, right? Because if it stops at phenomenal, then you know what I mean. But people need to be able to go in, meaning your aunts, your uncles, and your grandmas and grandfathers, those are still working. They need to be able to get their money around the clock and not care that it is dealing with cryptocurrencies. One of them people on the app, I believe it was somebody from Cam working with Privy, actually. Cam from Privy, which is /Stripe, he was saying that a number of their clients or customer base don't even realize they're working through cryptocurrency and blockchain. And guess what? That is what it's supposed to be about. Those of you that are in crypto right now, and you can see, you have that foresight, and you can see the road ahead. Crypto is just the backstory. It is the back end. It is that end that people are going to come up time when they don't even think about that, oh, this is crypto. This is blockchain. Damn, I don't understand crypto. I don't understand blockchain. You're not going to have to, and you're not going to care, just as long as your money show up on time, which is why Zebec has built an impenetrable fortress of solitude with this. They took their time, and they started with the proper structure by working with the businesses, by working with the institutions to make sure they was on solid ground. They were in a location. They had the location picked out, and then they had a way, because if you build a better mousetrap, people will come. They had a way to get these people in there. Hence, you got the super app. So they got the super app, but you can't have the super app and have this nice structure unless you got top grade A security, Suge Knight type security. That's the type of security you need. So you got your Hypernative. So now only thing is left to do is to have the mayor, which is Simon and Sam. Both of them have Simon and Sam cut in, and bam, they cut that cord for opening day, or that ribbon, and voila, the influx of people are waiting to rush in and take it for somebody who saw the opening of a massive hospital. They will come, and they will be waiting to come in and look around and say, wow, look at this. But they're not going to say, what are those beams made of? Or what blockchain we're working with again? They're just going to say, where's my money? And Zebec is going to be there to deliver. Now, I hope I did a good job of explaining it to you in a way that you don't forget, because guys, it's not about throwing a bunch of information at you. You need to be able to digest it and understand it from a direction that you won't forget, but you will also understand how valuable your asset is. Because remember, Zebec is the engine. Zebec is that engine that's built into this fortress of solitude, and it is going to, because of all the people that's coming in, that is how you're going to make money in the end. Let me know down below what you think. And again, make sure you smash that like button, share this with somebody who needs a little bit more information. And follow me over on X if you want to go on and listen to this whole breakdown that they had, but digest it in a way that you will remember. To the next one, this your boy. I'm out.
That was Grow Rich and Grow Happy. So I guess we'll shut it down on this Friday evening as we wait for big news from Zebec. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about the videos and the announcements from Simon. But as always, it's your main man BTM signing out. Remember, guys, let's get back to the money and stay dangerous. It's your main man BTM signing out. Peace and hair grease. Miners out.